Hello everyone, you have Royce here and welcome to our channel Sansevieria 101. So for this content, we're going to feature a special episode of a Sansevieria that I have spotted when I was making deliveries here in our town. And this particular Sansevieria, upon first glance, I wasn't able to identify it. It's almost not the same as what you would usually see in the market, and it is a very big uh, specimen. So I have decided to trade it. Actually, I have talked with the owner, and it was just outside of the gate, so it was neglected, and I wanted to take care of it since I saw that it's a rare specimen for me. I requested, or I traded with a Sansevieria species called Pawisi, and the person who owned this specimen agreed. Like I said, I wasn't able to identify this particular Sansevieria when I first saw it, but you'd be surprised when I tell you that this is actually a common Sansevieria hybrid that can be bought in the market. So as you can see, it's very hard to handle because of the size. It is enormous for what you actually would see in the market. And right now I'm going to tell you what it is. It is actually Sansevieria Fernwood. So in the market you would see them uh, sold in very small pots, and actually I have a sample here. I have my own Sansevieria Fernwood, which is a hybrid, and I'm not able to grow it to this extent. This is actually, guys, this is what my Fernwood looks like, and it's attacked by aphids. So I'm not able to grow it to that size. Perhaps it took years. I'm not sure, but it when I saw it, when I spotted it, it's just outside of the gate of the person who owned it. So I requested if I could have it. I traded with a Sansevieria Pawisi, that's a species, and I'm afraid I'm not able to grow Fernwoods to this size. So um, I decided to have or get it or trade it with something else, and the owner agreed and gave it to me. And I will show you a picture of how it looks like when I first got it. But right now I have cut it from this clump. It was the biggest uh, rhizome growth from the clump, from this clump. Uh, Actually, this is a ball of roots here, and this is the part where I have made a cut from it. The other ones really are Fernwood, but the one that I cut was the biggest from that specific node of rhizome. So actually what I'm doing is called a top cut method of propagating Sansevierias. I have shown the method on a previous episode or one of the special episodes. So if you wanna check it out, just scroll through the channel, and you can use the magnifying search tab there. You can type top cut, and that episode would pop up and you can view it. But right now this is also classified as top cut because I have cut the specimen from the root system. So this is the topmost portion, and actually there are a couple of leaves there, and we're going to bury this part so we don't actually need this leaf here. So I'm going to show you how I'm gonna do it. So we're going to remove the leaves from it, and I'll show you I'll give you one of one tip or advice: when you get plants from outside of your garden or your nursery, make sure that you check the plant, because they might be infested, or there might be pests that are with it. So you have to quarantine them, or do some measures to get rid, or have them, as I said, quarantined. So actually, I have already sprayed the plant with hydrogen peroxide, but there are places where the pests would hide, and it's hard for you to spot. So that's one example. You can see that there are aphids or mealy bugs hiding on this particular leaf. So uh, we'll take care of that in a bit. And there is a way to deal with them. That is by using this pesticide. It's called a systemic pesticide, and it's a granule type, wherein you sprinkle it on the root system of the plant, and it is systemic. So the moment that you sprinkle it on the root system, it gets absorbed by the whole plant, and the plant itself will become toxic to the insects or the pests. And regarding with the pests that you can see, especially the ones that are hiding from the beneath the stem parts, this pesticide will take care of it. So this is a systemic pesticide. It is the brand is Starkle G. This is a pesticide that came from Thailand, and it is a granule type. It's soluble, so the moment that you water it, the granules would eventually melt down and get absorbed by the plant itself. So we're going to remove more leaves, because we don't really need them, and we're going to bury them from this point. Also, another tip would be, when can you top cut your Sansevierias or your plants? So especially with Sansevierias, because I only specialize in Sansevierias, the moment that you see air roots, these are called, we call them air roots, because they're above the soil level, and they grow from the stem part of the leaves. They are also one of the reasons why some leaves would act up, because these roots would puncture the leaf, some of the leaf that they are growing with, and they become entry points for the leaf to rot. So they might damage the leaf, or they might not. We can't control that unless you want to cut all the roots that you can find on this specimen. So there you go. So more pests, as you can see. I don't know if it can be focused with the camera that I'm using right now, but there are a lot of pests on there. Be careful if you want to save a plant from one of your neighbors, especially the ones that are neglected, because they might be carrier for pests. So I'll remove more leaves that we don't need, because we're going to replant them. All right. So I guess this is good enough. I'll just have to bury it. Some of the leaves might be buried in the pot itself, but that's okay. That would make it more stable if you bury this kind of specimen deeper, so it can stand on its own. Alright, so before I do though, to take care of this part, if there are any pests or mealy bugs that are still on there, I'm using the hydrogen peroxide, and it's 3%. I'll just spray it. You see that there are mealybugs sticking on them, but I have already sprayed them. So most likely that's already dead, but let's just make sure that we take care of anything that's hiding, especially on the this parts of the stem. So once again, this is Fernwood. It is a hybrid, a Sansevieria hybrid, and Fernwood, folks, you can easily buy them in the market, and I'll show you my Fernwood in a bit. This one is very large, so I'm not able to grow Fernwoods to this size. That's why I saved this plant, because it was neglected. It was outside the gate of one of our neighbors here in our town. So by the way, just a recap, I already posted Sansevieria Fernwood, and you can just look at that episode on the channel. Fernwood is a cross between the species Sansevieria parva and Sansevieria suffruticosa. So parva is very thin species, and they grow like this one. The form grows like this. On the other hand, by the way, parva is a thin leaf species of Sansevieria. So this hybrid took the growth form, and then the shape of the leaf, the thickness, that is almost cylindrical in nature, but it has a leaf canal it took from the other parent, suffruticosa. So like I said, it is a hybrid of Sansevieria species, a parva species, and crossed with Sansevieria suffruticosa species, and it was bred by Rogers Weld, and he named it after a nursery called Fernwood nursery. So the plant, or the hybrid, is having the ID Fernwood, named after that nursery by Rogers Weld. So I guess we are done with giving out the some of a history of this particular specimen that I am holding. It's kind of heavy. I think it weighs about 1 kilo. I think 2 or 2. And I'm going to set it aside first, and I'll show you where I'm going to plant it. So we are going to plant it on a very big pot. So this is the pot, and I've already filled it out halfway with all sorts of things that I can put in on that pot. So let's just I'll give you an idea on how big the pot is. Sorry about that. It's quite hard to make a video about a large plant. So this pot is having a diameter of 12 inches. You see? Let me move the camera a bit so you can see where my hand ended up, or move back a bit so you can see how large the pot is. So it is 12 inches. I didn't move that finger when I moved my hand closer to the camera. So like I said, I have this is the media. I have placed a lot of content in there. So the potting mix is composed of mostly pumice, then compost, because like I said, it's a very big pot, so I'm having a hard time filling it up. Filling it up with mostly pumice is a very expensive way of potting this particular specimen for me. So most of it are compost. I have placed crushed eggs. You have to crush the eggs so that they would be finer as such. one reason why we're doing it, because we want the eggshells to decompose faster for the plant to absorb them. So, and also we're uh, putting carbon. This kind of carbon, though, is not the usual charcoal that you use when you're trying to grill something. This carbon comes is a food grade, and it's used for water filters. I have a water refilling station, and we use this particular type of carbon in plants as well because it's also food grade, so it's also safe in uh, using it with plants. So there you go. Those are the components. I just have a handful of them and just sprinkle them around so I can fill out. They're just like fillers for this particular pot because it's, like I said, it's a big pot and I don't want to spend a lot for it, especially for this specimen. But I'm quite confident that it's hardy enough to take whatever I place on the pot. So I also sometimes I would recycle some banana peels. So you have to dry them that they would look like this before you put them on plants, because if you don't, they might be the ones that will cause rot for your plants. So I'll just use this type of scissors, then we'll have them crushed. They're easy to crush because they're already dried out, and I'm also using them as fillers because I'm using a very big pot to plant Sansevieria Fernwood. So I'll just finish cutting them big portions. They're already decomposing, and it's easier if you break them down to smaller pieces so the plant can make use of the nutrients that they have. All right, so there you go. So mostly that's what was on the bottom part of the pot, and then I have to fill out with more compost because it's a very big pot and we're having a hard time trying to make it fit. So I guess we can cut the rhizome or the stem part shorter. Don't worry about cutting the stem part if you still see the air roots growing on the stem. They can take it, but I guess I'll have to cut it from here. I don't know if I have a tool ready here, but I can just use this blade to cut that portion because it's taking too much space if I don't. So there you go. Cut from there, and then it's shorter. So another way, since one more thing, since I have cut that part, I have to spray it again with hydrogen peroxide. So hydrogen peroxide, folks, cleans the wounded part of the plant, and also it makes it callus faster. One other technique that I'm using is if I cut the rhizome of the Sansevieria and I don't have the patience to wait for it to callus, I just spray hydrogen peroxide, then I'll use the what do you call this, cinnamon powder to cover the part, and it acts as a shield for it to callus faster, and so the the contents of the potting mix would not touch the wounded part directly. So there you go. I think we're done, and we'll plant it that way. I'm trying to do it so it can stand as such. Then we'll add more compost. Oh, sorry, dropped it. Alright, there you go. Alright, so I added more compost, then I'll have to add potting mix to it. There you go. Alright, so I'll be filling out the pot with the medium because it's hard for me to make the video, so I'll have to cut it, and I'll be back in a bit when I'm done filling out the pot, so you can see how it looks like when I'm done. I'll be back in a bit. Alright folks, so we're back, and we're done repotting the Sansevieria Fernwood. I'm backing up a bit so you can see how large the specimen is. When I first spotted it, I was wondering what type of Sansevieria it was, so I posted it in social media, and some of my colleagues informed me that it's Sansevieria Fernwood. It is the hybrid that was bred by Rogers Weld, and the parentage of this Sansevieria hybrid is Sansevieria species parva and Sansevieria species suffruticosa. So I'll have a measuring a ruler here. It's the usual 24-inch ruler, and then I'll position it so you can see how tall it is, and I'll back down a bit, back up a bit. It is as you can see almost 24 inches, but I have buried it deeper, so the specimen is actually around 2 feet or so. I just buried it deeper so that it can support itself, because if I don't, it would just fall off this big pot. So the pot diameter again is 1 feet wide, or 12-inch wide, and it is 11 inches tall. So once again, I'm showing you a mature Sansevieria Fernwood. In the market, you would they can be purchased easily. They're common side by side. They are usually sold with Sansevieria bacularis in small pots. I myself, I'm not able to grow Sansevieria Fernwood to this extent. This is a very mature Sansevieria Fernwood that I'm sharing with you. I actually have my own Fernwood, and it looks like this. It's being infested by aphids or mealybugs. This is under quarantine, and I'm just showing them to you because Fernwoods, they really invite a lot of pests, so it's very hard for me. This one acts like a bait for me, bait for pests, and I spray hydrogen peroxide to melt them, and put some systemic pesticides to take care of the pest that inhibits their growth. So for myself, I'm not able to grow Fernwood to this extent. That is why I requested if to the owner of this specimen if I could have it, so I can continue on growing it, because I have just spotted it outside of the gate and it's being neglected. At first, I'm not able to identify it since it has grown very mature and looks very different from the usual Sansevieria Fernwood that are sold in the market. So this is actually the clump that it was in. As you can see, these are still Fernwood looking. That's Fernwood looking. This is Fernwood looking. This is usually what is sold in the market. And this is the node where I have cut the big specimen. So I'm hoping that I can grow it to a larger size by replanting it to a very big pot. And I think it will still grow and it will stack up, with the exception if it will give me an inflorescence right here, then it would stop growing. And I'm kind of hoping that it wouldn't, so it can continue on growing, so I can gauge Sansevieria Fernwood if it would stack up, if it would grow like Sansevieria Francesi species, which just grows longer, keeps on stacking leaves on the topmost portion, growing. So I'm trying to figure out if Fernwood would grow to such extent. This is already, like I said, a very large specimen. It is 2 feet or so. I just buried it deeper so it can support itself. And also I have placed stones. I always do, because the potting mix that I use, they are lightweight. If I would water this or drench this with water, all the medium compost would float out of the pot, and I don't want that to happen. That is why I am putting stones on top of the potting mix that I have. So folks, you see all my plants, most of them have stones on top of the medium. It doesn't really bother them. I don't have any instances wherein they would rot because there's stones on top of them. So that's one of the myths that you'd encounter in the Sansevieria world. So I'm not following that. I'm not believing that. You can see all my plants, they have grown to such extent that they're really large, and they all my setup are always like that. So I think this is it for this content. This is just to show you how the how a very mature Fernwood looks like, because as for myself, this is I was actually surprised to see that this is how they look like when they really grow very big. I usually see them in the market and they're very small, and I'm not able to grow them to such extent. This specimen has a lot of scars, it's a survivor, so a lot of leaf that's fallen out, a lot of attacks. I think this is caterpillar feeding on them. A lot of scars from pests that are that like to feed on Sansevieria. So I think this is it for this content, folks. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave a comment down below. And if you like the content that I'm featuring, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. You folks have a great day. Thank you and goodbye.